Clip from our big NHL opening night show, baby. We're back. Check out the entire show. Hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. And we move on. We move on to 8:15 p.m. Eastern. AFC Divisional Playoffs. Baltimore Ravens 11-5 in the regular season, 6-2 on the road at the Buffalo Bills, 13-3, 7-1 at home. Bill Stadium, Orchard Park, New York, 33 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 12 miles per hour. A lot of people talking about snow in this game, and I have the snow stopping quite early on Saturday. So there's snow in the forecast like 5 of the next 7 days. But what I got from the weather forecast is that there'll be at least 6 hours or so of no snow, a minimum of 6 hours at some places of no snow. 33 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 12 miles per hour. Fap win. Thank you for joining us. Matt Anderson says Lamar has never played in the snow. So I don't know when the last time everybody looked at the weather reports, but I did an hour and a half ago. And I have no snow Saturday at 8:15.
Do you think the forecast will change over the next 4 or 5 days?
Yes, I think it's very possible that will change, but just guessing that it's going to be snowing, I don't think is the right thing to do here. And I do also think that you can get an idea if it's going to be 25 mile per hour winds when you do look at the weather ahead of time. Okay, let's move and let's see what we are dealing with here. The Bills opened up at -2.5 at -115. Some books had them at -3 at -124. I was dumb enough to go for a walk on Monday morning and think, wow, maybe I should move on them now. The Ravens at +3. Excuse me. The Ravens were +3 at -124. I said Bill. Sorry. I was like, maybe I should move now on the Ravens. And I did a radio show on Monday morning. And I said, I would sure like that +3's juice to go down. I hope that there's action on Buffalo. And that was not the case. All the action came in on the Ravens. In fact, the indicator offshore books even had the Ravens at +1 12 and 18 hours ago. That's back to 2.5. But it went all the way down to +1 before there was buyback on the Bills. Ravens are coming off 2013 win at Tennessee. The Ravens snapped a string of 21 straight games lost by the franchise in either the regular season or playoffs when trailing by 10 or more. Lamar Jackson was the best player on the field. 17-24, 179 yards, ran 16 times for 139 yards. That touchdown run was one of the finest runs by a quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Marquise Brown caught 7 passes for 109 yards. J.K. Dobbins ran 9 times for 43 yards. Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams back on the Baltimore D-line. And Henry had his worst performance of the season, 18 carries for 40 yards. The Ravens dominated the yards edge in that game in total offense, 401 to 209. It was the 2 top rushing teams in the NFL, and the Ravens destroyed them, 236 to 51 yards. Ravens had 13 first downs rushing and only 1 from Tennessee. Marcus Peters, non-participant today's practice, questionable with the back injury. Matthew Judon, non-participant with an illness. We all expect them to play. DJ Fluker continues to be questionable, but this is as healthy as this squad has been all year long. I want the Ravens here, and I guess at this point I'm just going to wait. But I guess it's going to have to be – there's no point taking a 2.5 to me. I think it's just going to be a money line spot. What did you think of the Ravens game against the Titans, Bebsy, and what do you think of their chances against the Bills?
Well, look, there was a reason I stayed off that game, and it was my general uncertainty about how Lamar would face the pressure. I didn't want to bet on him until he showed me he could. And you're right. He played fantastic. I also don't like betting against you, Jimmy. Head-to-head does not favor me. Look, he played great, but let's not pretend that this Bills defense is as weak as this Titans defense. And I don't think 20 points is going to do it versus the Bills. So they need to still add another element to this team. They still need somebody to emerge as a go-to target beyond Mark Andrews. So I still don't have a ton of faith in them. And I also think both of these teams, not just the Ravens are getting healthy and hitting their stride at the right time, but so is Buffalo. The biggest question mark to me is how Lamar Jackson handles the weather. If it is snowing, that's really problematic for them. If it's extremely cold, that's problematic for them. I don't think it's going to be the be-all, end-all of the game, but the style that Lamar Jackson plays, if he is cold with bad footing, that is really going to hurt them. Whereas I don't think that hurts Josh Allen's game as much. So it's a tough call. But also one of these things, if teams aren't or players aren't used to playing in the snow, a lot of the time it takes a half to adjust to it. And for that reason, I think I'm going to take Buffalo first half in this. I'm not going to touch the full game, but Buffalo first half I like because I think they'll be more ready, at least for the elements in this game.
Okay, well, let's talk about this Bills squad a little bit more and go over their injury report. First off, coming off 27-24 win at home over Indianapolis in wildcard week, that was underwhelming. First playoff win in 25 years, so get that monkey off their back, but Josh Allen, 26-35, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Stephon Diggs caught 6 passes for 128 yards. They couldn't get their running game on track. Josh Allen ran for 11 times for 54 yards, 1 touchdown. Singletary and Moss combined for 10 runs for just 42 yards. The Bills' defense kept their shit together while the Colts enjoyed an 8-minute-plus edge in time of possession. The Colts crossed midfield on all 9 drives except for the kneel down to end the first half. The Colts generated 472 yards of offense. That is the most by a losing team that didn't commit a turnover in NFL playoff history. Bills extended another franchise record by scoring 24 more points for a 10th straight game. Bills have allowed 150 yards rushing 5 times already this season, 4 more than last year. The Ravens have combined to allow just 628 yards passing in their last 4 games. The Ravens only allowed 158 yards through the air to the Titans. Here's some more damaging things about the Bills. And obviously, I'm looking for them. The Colts converted 9 of 17 third down opportunities. That's the 7th time this season an opponent against the Bills has had a 50% or better third down conversion rate. And Zach Moss, extended injury, broken ankle. He's moved to injured reserve. He's done for the rest of the year. So it will be the Singletary show. Cole Beasley, limited participant in practice due to the knee injury. Stephon Diggs, limited participant due to an oblique. Then you have Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker, defensive tackle Ed Oliver, defensive tackle Justin Zimmer, and defensive end Daryl Johnson, all questionable to play. Talk to me more about the Bills in your first half look, Pepsi.
Look, I'll just reiterate that I think the conditions that they're playing in will play such a huge factor. I think there'll be, at least at the start of the game, a period of adjustment for the Ravens. Also, we've seen this Bills team from week 1 jump out. They come out hot in so many games. They've done it all year with the exception of a couple of games leading up to that first Patriots game where they came out sluggish. But they've been a first half team, it feels like, all year. That's why I'm willing to bet on the first half in this, but not the full game. And just with regards to them struggling against Indy, look, I said they would. Indy was a dangerous football team. Indy has a fantastic defense, and really the only thing that held them back from being much better was Phillip Rivers. So I don't think you can just dismiss it as they should have plowed in their first game. No, they were up against a very, very dangerous team. And look, the defense took a pounding in that second half, but then stood up when it mattered. And that last drive, Indy couldn't do anything. Also, that was a fumble, and that was a bullshit call. Yeah, I really like the way this team has played in the first half. I think they're extremely well coached, and I'm not going to take full game. This is my form of not going against you, Jimmy, but I will take first half.
Well, you have a choice to make. Do you want -0.5 at -105 at BetMGM, or do you want to pick them at -120?
I'll take the half.
All right. Bebsy is on the Bills. Now, I am a Bills first half -0.5 at -105, available at BetMGM. I am going to be betting the Ravens. And, I mean, I've been saying this for a month that if these two teams met, I would back the Ravens here. Now, the Ravens are healthy. But I'm going to wait. Because clearly there are cappers that are going to come in on the Bills. And right now we have a situation where the Ravens have 59% of the cash. The Bills have 53% of the tickets. But that's been changing by the minute. All the early action was on the Ravens. Money's coming back in on the Bills. So I'm going to sit back and wait. And see what I can get on the Ravens. But I will be betting them come Sunday. We have a question from the chat, Bebsy. Ron Burgundy says, what do you think of John Brown under prop? Allen slung it 35 times. Brown had 0 catches. He also had 0 catches against KC and the Rams. Does he disappear in big games?
Yeah, I absolutely think that's a great look because John Brown's done that for a long time. He did that in Arizona. He also seems to be a guy who will pull off some huge games in the regular season, and you start thinking, "Oh, this is going to be John Brown's emerged." And then it's not even big games. He just flat out disappears for stretches at a time. So yeah, I think that's a beautiful look, and I might tail you on it come this weekend.
Dennis says, "Yeah, Jimmy, but I doubt you ever see the 3 again." I agree with you, and the +3 at -125 is only worth it if you're going to make a bigger bet. So for me, if I wanted to bet $500 or $1,000 on that, then that +3 at -125. If it's just a $200 regular unit bet, then why not take the money line in this situation? Intex, no, we will not be on Sunday this week, but we're doing some new things for the conference finals and the Super Bowl, so I will be in touch with everybody about that. And also great to see you, my man. Okay, so we're done here. Bebsy, any last word? We didn't really discuss this total, and this total is sitting at 50, and we've seen almost no movement on it. And from the betting public right now, we have heavy cash on the over and tickets on the over.
That's interesting because my gut says under. I just think that's a lot of points in a game that could wind up being sloppy. I think it's too early to this is why I don't like discussing weather on Tuesdays because we can be sure that it's going to be cold and there's a chance of snow. But look, if it's pounding snow, which is possible to change from now and then, it's going to be very different. So I lean under for me, but I wouldn't make a move on it now.
Yeah, and it's not going to be too cold. That we know.
No, it's not going to be frigid.
No. All right, there is the AFC Divisional Playoffs. Gas Station Sushi has a question before we move on. Last question says, Bebsy, why would you bet Buffalo only in the first half? Ravens aren't a comeback team.
It has more to do with the way I feel about the Bills than it does about the Ravens. I just think the Bills come out hot a lot, and I'm worried about adjustments. If it is a snowy, messy game, you'll notice road teams tend to play stronger in the second half, or teams that aren't used to playing in the snow, because they make proper equipment adjustments. You see it all the time. Guys on the sidelines changing out spikes, getting something that works better because, quite frankly, they aren't used to it. They don't know what works. So that's my logic behind it. It might be complete and utter bullshit, but that's how I feel about it.
All right, there you have it. That is Bills, Ravens. What a game it's going to be. Saturday night, baby. Saturday night.